You don't see him, but behind me, Charlie's there, hiding behind a pillow. Maybe he's shy, doesn't want to be seen by the one person who's watching this currently. ah, ugh. Speaking of cats, got a new addition to my little cat family here at home. We got a kitten that's been living in the backyard for the past, I don't know, 2 months, however old that cat is by now. Perfect time to stream. I'm going to see Spider Man tonight. Oh, yeah, isn't there a new Spider Man movie out? I think. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the superhero stuff. The only Spider Man, the only Spider Man thing that I care about is the PlayStation games. The 2018 Spider Man game on PS4 and the the kind of sort of sequel game, more like an in between game, Miles Morales. I was on PS5. I like those two games, but aside from that, I don't really care about the superhero stuff. But you do you. Have fun watching the new Spider-Man movie, whatever it's called, because I don't keep up with that. But yeah, I got a kitten. It's it's inside right now, but it spent the night outside because it kind of shat on the floor. So my mom freaked out. So we have a cat that's in the backyard that gives birth to a litter of kittens every few months. But anyway, the reason this stream is cough is at this point, uh, the air quality in New York City has been absolutely dreadful. These almost the last week. I mean, more like the past few days. The other day, Wednesday was fucking wild. I woke up and the sky was orange. Never saw anything like that in my life. I mean, I've seen pictures of the sky like that and like, places like California and Australia, when those places had wildfires, but to see that in real life with your own eyes is a completely different experience. Again, that is something I never thought I'd see in real life. Never thought it'd happen here, but alas, though it's better now. The air quality isn't as bad as it was. I mean, it's still bad, but it's getting better. It's getting better. Hopefully, I'll remain healthy. I refuse to have my window open because I don't want that fucking smoke getting into my room. Like that day, the sky was orange. We had all the windows closed, but I think my uncle forgot to close his window, and his room is the room next to mine. And he does his work downstairs in the kitchen. So, he was down there all day. And I opened my door, and even though his window was open just a crack that day, I got fucking punched in the face with smoke. Smelled like someone was smoking a cigarette in there. I hope relatively soon the air quality over here gets better because God, it's been awful. Awful. I refuse to go out. I refuse to open my window because I don't want to breathe in all that fucking smoke that's in the air. I smoked extra weed last night for obvious reasons. I had a friend over and we pitched a tent in the yard for hotboxing. That's cool. It's I think I've said this in the last stream, but it's been a minute since I smoked weed. I don't do it often. It's mainly like a social thing I do with friends. Maybe I should get my weed card, um, and finally start buying it myself. But I can live with or without weed. Though I do prefer being high over being sober, but who doesn't? Hello, Leo. It has been a while indeed. How have you been doing? I don't even remember the last time I talked to you. Am I late for the party? Well, considering this stream started, what? Considering the stream started 5 minutes ago, I'd say no. You're right on time. My dad was in Fort McMurray, Alberta, when the whole town was surrounded by forest fires and smoke. That must have been really scary. I've never had the displeasure of being, you know, in right by where a wildfire is. Knock on wood, I never have to be in that situation, but I I'd imagine it must be really scary to like, be within the vicinity of a wildfire, seeing it with your own eyes. Oh, there's Charlie. Say hello to the viewers. Yeah, I've been worried for Charlie too. I don't want him breathing in all that smoke either. Because, it's not just us humans that are affected by the terrible air quality. Like, literally, the other day, NYC had literally the worst air quality in the entire world. No shit. It's like we were transported into hell. The sky was fucking red. Well, more like orange, but still. Again, it's something I never thought I'd see with my own eyes. I mean, the sky is normal again. It's white right now. At like 6 in the morning, around the time I fell asleep, uh, it was actually blue. First time I saw a blue sky in a while, maybe a week. Yeah, I'm glad the haze and the orange sky is gone. All right, where did I leave off? Hello, Pixel fan. How are you doing? Hello, Robert. Sup? I'm high as fuck. I also smoke weed every night after work. That sounds nice. Anyway, I'm gonna blow a toke out the window. All right, see ya. I'm glad I have a lot of stoners in my audience. Remember when I was smoking all the time in 2017? It was great. I've said this before, but it did wonders for my anxiety when I was smoking on a regular basis. I've had friends who don't like weed because they had a bad experience when they smoked. One of them had a panic attack. So I know it's not, I know not everyone is going to be receptive to smoking weed because people have different reactions. But me personally, I have nothing but positive experiences with weed. Charlie. I don't think it was in the last stream. I think the last time you all saw him was probably like, I don't know, 2 months ago. Yeah, it's great. I'll never forget the first time I got high. Yeah, I remember my first time clearly. I've told this story before, maybe even in the last stream. I don't remember exactly, but I know I said this in the stream before, but I'll say it again. I'll tell the story again. Uh, it was late 2016. I was in 10th grade. After school, one of my friends offered me a joint, and that was back when I still believed in the whole bullshit. You know, weed is a gateway drug. If you smoke weed, eventually you're gonna move on to snorting cocaine, and doing heroin and meth and all that other bad shit. So I was scared, but I kind of gave in to peer pressure. I know. Don't give in to peer pressure, but in this case, it did wonders for me. And I smoked it, and I was like, "Wow, this is great." And I never looked back. I can't believe I fucking fell for that gateway drug shit, though. I mean, I didn't know any better. I didn't do any research myself. I only started actually, looking up health benefits and, looking up all the copious studies that, debunk the whole gateway drug shit after I started smoking weed. But yeah, I didn't know any better back then. I was 15, a very naive 15-year-old. I tried to play it off like I wasn't nervous, but my friend who offered me the joint back then, we still laugh about it now. He was like, "Yeah, I could tell you were really nervous. You weren't slick." I've been smoking every day since I was 14, other than the time I was in rehab for my meth use. Yeah, I'm glad you beat that. I was laughing so hard at first, and then I just felt so calm and good. Sometimes I do laugh a lot when I'm high. Like I could laugh at the most like mundane shit. Like someone could just be tying their shoes, and if I'm high enough, that would just make me laugh my ass off. Doesn't happen every time I'm high, but sometimes it happens. I'm glad I'm not the only one who starts laughing uncontrollably when they're high sometimes. The AQI is also bad in my area, yeah. Actually, I didn't even look up what the AQI is in my area today. Where the fuck is my phone? Oh, there it is. Behind me. AQI 52. Well, at least it's not like fucking 200 like it was the other day. Like I said before, the air quality still isn't good, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than it was the other day. But like I said in my latest video, if you're in an area that's affected by all this wildfire smoke, until the air is finally breathable again, stay indoors, or at least stay indoors whenever you can, and unless you absolutely have to go outside, like maybe you have to buy groceries or you work. um but yeah, other than that, just stay indoors. Don't breathe in the fucking toxic air. My mom says weed does more good than harm in our world. My mom says the opposite. I've said this before. My mom was really pissed off when New York finally fully legalized weed because she's all in on that gateway drug bullshit. She doesn't know I smoke sometimes. My dad does. Hell, me and my dad have gotten high together before. It's all a secret to her. Speaking of my dad, he must be enjoying this toxic. He must be enjoying the bad air because I've seen articles that said on Wednesday when the AQI over here is at its worst, um, that breathing in the air was the equivalent of smoking 6 cigarettes. My dad does way more than 6 cigarettes in a day, or smokes way more than 6 cigarettes in a day. Jesus. That time I went to a family gathering with him and his girlfriend. I was in a car with them for 2 hours, and they were going, they were smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. Weren't fucking stopping. And my whole father's side on the family, they all smoke and drink and, all that shit. I've gotten high, but miraculously, I've never gotten drunk. I don't drink. I've been to parties before with alcohol there, but I never had any interest in drinking it. I mean, I've drank stuff like wine before, but I was never a fan. LOL, I remember being 15. I was learning so much about the world. Don't we all learn a lot about the world at 15? I mean, I still have a lot more to learn about the world at age 22, but at 15, I was a hell of a lot more naive about a lot of shit than I am now. And I'm sure at age 30, I'll look back at when I was 22 and be like, he was definitely a lot more naive than I am now. It's part of growing up. I was laughing at my cat running around. Well, I've never been high at home. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. One of the times my dad came down, we went to a park that's behind the houses here in the neighborhood. We have a little private park in this neighborhood. Me and my dad went there and smoked, and I was high for I don't even remember how long exactly, but I went back home and first time I was ever high at my house. I watch Mikey's videos when I'm high sometimes, especially the bad comment videos. Now that's something I've never experienced. Watching a video of mine high never occurred to me. Well, it's usually because I'm with friends when I'm high, though. So I'm not really looking at my phone. I'm just usually talking to them because I'm seldom high alone. It's 81 in my area. What, the temperature or the AQI? I remember those videos. I still do the bad comment videos. Not nearly as often as I used to, like 6, 7 years ago, but still do them on occasion whenever I feel like it. I don't miss doing those videos on a consistent basis though, because it got kind of hard after a while finding, stupid comments. I mean, I get a lot of stupid comments, but not all of them are interesting to read in a video and respond to in video form because some of them can just simply be like, "You're an idiot. I hate you. Go die," or something like that. And what's there really to respond to there? It's a nasty comment. That's all you can really say about it. So that's why I like doing them once every like I don't know 6 months, even if that maybe like once a year. Well, no, No, maybe like once every 8 months. I don't have a schedule for the bad comment videos. I haven't even thought about doing one. Maybe I will do one within the next month or two. I don't know, but all in all, I mean, I still get a lot of bad comments, but it's just that not all of them are interesting enough to put in a video, and that's partly why I stopped doing them on a regular basis. Well, one, because I was also getting bored of doing those videos, and it got to a point where I was kind of forcing myself to do those videos because I did them every month, I think, or every other month, or I don't know, every 3 months, I don't know, but it got to a point where I was doing those videos, and I was like, and then the time to make another one would come around, and I'd be like, I don't feel like doing this, but people like these videos, so I'll do it out of obligation. And when you're doing a video, when you're doing a series of videos out of obligation, what's the point in even continuing them? Because you yourself don't even enjoy making them, and therefore you're making a worse video because the passion isn't there anymore. What the fuck is Charlie doing? Look at him. Yeah, he's coming back to the bed. I don't want him around my electronics. Look at him. He wants to steal the show. The cigarettes I smoke are illegal to have because they're made in Canadian Indigenous communities and are not taxed. Canadian government loves to do this garbage. Random fact, there is music from the 1890s and 1900s that I like. I actually do like listening to music that old sometimes. Well, not really because I actually enjoy those songs. I mean, I can respect those songs because, they paved the way for music, you know, decades on, but it's still interesting to hear music, or more specifically, it's more interesting to hear, people who are long dead now singing. Makes the songs kind of creepy, that and the really awful quality because these are 100-plus-year-old songs, but it's still fascinating to listen to, really early music, or some of the earliest recorded songs. Though I won't trade those songs for the songs that I like listening to, like rock music and metal music. I can't imagine living in a time where, it was only like, early 1900s music was your only option. Because again, I find those songs fascinating to listen to because of how old they are, and it representing an entire generation that's long dead now. But I don't really enjoy the songs outside of the intrigue. If you get what I'm saying. Can't wait to be an adult next year, so my mom doesn't have to give me her weed. Yeah, I still just get weed from my friends. Again, maybe I'll get a card eventually, but I'm more of a recreational, not recreational, more of a social smoker. Again, I've never really gotten high on my own, more so just with friends. The AQI is 81 and the temperature is 82. Over here, it is 70 degrees. It's been a really cool June so far. I don't know if next week it's supposed to be hot. Oh no, next week is also going to be in the 70s for the most part. Or some days it's going to be in the high 70s though. It depends on the humidity. I think this time last year it was already really hot out though. But climate change. Weather's been really fucky here lately. Been experiencing a lot of firsts. Like again, the sky being orange. Like I said, that is something I never thought I'd see with my own eyes. think I remember writing a fake comment on one of your videos a very long time ago, specifically to get on the bad comments videos. You put a comment on a deleted response video instead. Well, I I don't remember which comment you're talking about specifically, but mm, yeah, I don't doubt that there were at least some people who did that, and maybe I did fall for the bait. Maybe I have felt. Maybe in the past I did fall for the bait a couple of times. But honest. Oh wait. Hello, Guitar Maker. How you doing today? See, honestly, you should make the comment waste bin a yearly thing, so you don't have to do it so often, and you can gather the worst of the worst. Isn't it already kind of a yearly thing? I don't think more than like from a year. I think I only made one in the entirety of 2022. Actually, I don't even entirely remember. The vast majority of music I listen to is metal. Well, for me, it's rock music, but yeah, I love me some metal. Yeah. After making the Saint Anger video the other day, I've been listening to that album quite a bit. Frantic is a song that I never get tired of. You can hate Saint Anger all you want, but if you ever say anything bad about Frantic, I'll kill you. I used to hate it when people back then would talk about how great the 90s are and dwell on the past. It made me more proud to be a 2010s kid. I even got a 2010 kids. I even got called a 2010 kid as an insult. Yeah, I think I've gotten some people like that too in the comments of some of my videos. I think more specifically in my ancient rant about my ancient rant on 90s kids. I remember that pissing off some 90s kids. I think it's kind of stupid to be real. Well, you can like, of course, you can like your upbringing, and of course, you can be nostalgic and all that. But I think it's kind of dumb to make the decade you were born in, or the decade you spent your childhood in, pretty much your whole fucking identity, and always talk about how much better things were when you were a kid. Because now you even have Zoomers talking about how great the early 2010s were because, that's when we were kids. That's when we were in elementary school. And back then, we were always hearing about how fucking great the 90s were, and we were so sick of hearing about that. You're gonna have kids who are born in, like, I don't know, 2015, 2016, and like 10 years from now, talking about how great the early 2020s were. It's like clockwork. I mean, I enjoyed the 2000s and early 2010s because that was when I was a kid, but I don't really like, to dwell on that all too much. The video you made on Matt Walsh, where he was mad over the word Karen, has some very bad comments from Matt Walsh fans. Yeah, I'm very much aware. Even if I didn't reply to any of them, I'm definitely aware. I just don't feel like spending my time arguing with his fucking vile fan base. Fortnite time. I don't know what you're referring to. Well, obviously the game Fortnite. I don't know why you posted that in the chat. Doing good. My mood has been improving since I'm being able to wear what I want on a daily basis. I'd imagine that would do wonders on your mental health. Finally being able to live without the fear of, or live without the stress of being in the closet. I can't even pretend to relate to, what you're going through right now, so I don't really have the most sound advice to give, but all I can really say is I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that things go smoothly for you, especially between, you and certain family members you've talked about before on Discord. Um, because I really do feel for you and anyone that's in your position, you know, having to conceal your identity. Wait 1 second, Charlie wants to leave. He's scratching on the door. Ocarina of Shirt time this time. One of my favorite Zelda games. My second favorite Zelda game, actually. I got this shirt just a month ago. Love it. Worn it so many times. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I think it's bullshit that, in the year 2023, people still have to conceal that they're gay or trans or anything of the sort. Just let people fucking live. You're the parents who can't accept their children's identity or sexuality are some of the worst parents out there because they don't actually love their kid. They want their kid to conform to. They want their kid to conform to what they, or how do I phrase this? They want their kid to be exactly how they envision their kid to be. They don't want their kid to actually be an individual. They want their kid to, fit a mold. And if they care about that more than, unconditionally supporting their child and not care and not care what their child chooses to be or, what their sexuality is or what their gender identity is, then fuck them. Fuck them. And I've complained before about my mom just being a milk toast lib and having dumb, viewpoints like, weed is a gateway drug and all that shit. But when it comes to a lot of social issues, she's pretty fine. She's even told me in the past, she wouldn't care at all if I were gay, if I were trans, she would love me anyway. So, whatever, if she's just a lib and, she might not have the best opinions on everything. So long as, she can accept me for who I am, and that's all that really matters. If she's not down at all with all this anti-trans shit. Hello, Puggy 420. 420 her name based. How are you doing today? Frantic is a good song. This might be a hot take, but Death Magnetic has some of my favorite Metallica songs on it. Is it really a hot take? I thought Death Magnetic. People complain about the production on Death Magnetic, but people complain about the production on Injustice for All. And a lot of people consider that the best Metallica album, so I didn't think it would be a hot take to say you like Death Magnetic. Though I think it is a hot take to say Unforgiven 3 is the best Unforgiven. I've seen people say it's the worst one, when really worse than 2, which is really just a retread of the first song. Come on. But no, Unforgiven 3 is definitely my favorite off of Death Magnetic, though. I think people have said it's because they've milked Unforgiven a lot, when really it was only 3 songs. It's not that much, but whatever. In 72 Seasons, the album they released just a few months ago, broke the chain of them releasing a new Unforgiven song every other album. Imagine if Unforgiven 3 was on Saint Anger. That would have sounded. Mhm. I find it ironic that kids at my middle school would insult me for liking Minecraft and GTA because they were huge Fortnite fanboys. This is when Fortnite was first popular. I was in 11th grade when Fortnite started popping off. Yeah, 2018 was when it first started gaining popularity, right? Yeah, that's when I was in 11th grade. I mean, I heard people talk about Fortnite, of course, in high school, but it wasn't like this huge phenomenon because, Fortnite. I mean, I don't wanna talk down to people who enjoy Fortnite, but, I'd say a good chunk of Fortnite's player base are children. So, while I still did hear about Fortnite quite a bit in high school, I'm sure I would have heard about it a lot more if I were in elementary school or middle school back then. Thoughts on EDP 445 losing everything? It happened 2 months ago. What did he has he been homeless for the past 2 months or something? I haven't been keeping up with EDP. If he did really lose everything, then get fucked. I can't give a shit less what happens to someone who would have glad. I don't give a shit less what happens to a person. After they thought they were meeting up with a 13-year-old girl to have sex with. I'm born in 2006 and proud of it. I was 5 in 2006. I vaguely remember 2006. What happened with EDP? I don't know. Supposedly 2 months ago, he lost everything. I don't exactly know what that means, but I don't know. Maybe he's been hopeless, which again, I I can't say I feel bad for him if that's the case. What law enforcement shows you watch? I don't know. One of my favorite shows of all time is The Wire. That focuses on law enforcement and criminals, so that counts. Also, I love the first season of True Detective. There you go. My mom is crazy for Law and Order, but I never got into that show. No need to reply to them. Just post them on Discord and laugh at them on there. Oh, you mean the stupid comments? Yeah, that's what I do 9 times out of 10. Unless, of course, the comment is really stupid, then I save that for a video where I compile a bunch of bad comments. But usually, I just like posting some dumb comments on Discord. Some dumb comments that are left on my videos. I mean, the early 2010s had some good shit, but there are some things now that are better than they were at that time. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure plenty of things are better now compared to 10 or so years ago. Again, nostalgia is fine so long as it's not like so long as it doesn't like define your personality. Like what's the case? As is the case with some '90s kids I've seen on the internet, where they refuse to believe anything good happened past 1999. Like, I'm sorry, if your peak was your childhood, then you have a really sad life. Most of my family members are handling it responsibly. Only one is being really bad about it. Yeah, I know which family member you're talking about there. Again, it's really a shame that people are like this in 2023. It's really a shame that, it seems like we're regressing when it comes to, you know, social issues or at least social issues regarding LGBTQ plus people. Because you would think issues like gay marriage and gay rights are were we're done with after gay marriage was finally legalized in this country, but now people are pushing back against even gay rights and saying, these people are scum, they're sinners, and, it's fucking ridiculous. People are so fucking backwards. My mom is a very progressive person and says she would not care if I was gay or trans. She'd still love me. Again, my mom isn't progressive per se. She's just a lib, but she still has no problem whatsoever with gay people or lesbians or trans people. She doesn't give a fuck what your sexuality or gender identity is. So long as you're a good person, she's fine with you. And again, she said if I were to ever come out as gay or trans, she would have no problem. Makes me really thankful for the family I was born into. I was born in 1996, but most of my core childhood memories are from the 2000s and early 2010s, and a few memories from 1999. Well, I was born in 2001, so I remember the 2000s. Not, 100% of course, but I, I was in first and second grade in the 2000s, and I think it was 2010 I was in third grade, or I think I started third grade in late 2009 and ended third grade in 2010. Again, my memory is a little hazy, but my core childhood was in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And like I said, those were fun times, but definitely, not something I'm yearning to go back to. That wasn't my peak. Jesus Christ. Imagine your peak being like fucking 9 years old. Early and mid 2010s were great memories, like it's heaven to me or some sort. Well, I've said over and over again, 2017 was a great year, but I'd rather look ahead and, you know, see what's in store with me in the future than just constantly dwell on my childhood and the past. Again, it's nice to reminisce. Nostalgia is nice. For me, nostalgia can be kind of depressing sometimes, but all in all, I just prefer to not look into the be stuck in the past like a lot of people are. Sometimes I worry that my house has asbestos in it because it was built in 1999. The house I live in was built in the 60s. It's still fine. Well, that doesn't really mean much. I mean, your house could. I don't know. I don't know what kind of condition your house is in, but hopefully it doesn't have asbestos. Why are houses that were built around that time in your area more susceptible to getting asbestos? To having asbestos? Hello, Tame. How are you doing? The early 1430s were a great time to live in. It never got better since then. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I definitely would trade everything to live in the 1430s. 72 Seasons was a very solid album. I still have not heard that album in full. I've only heard a couple of singles off of it, like that one, uh, Lux Eterna, which I didn't really care for all that much. Maybe my expectations were set too high, though. I saw a bunch of Metallica fans saying This is amazing, so phenomenal. And then I listened to the song, and I was like, "Eh, it's alright." That's why you don't listen to fanboys. Any thoughts on June Jam? I have no clue what that is. I was in 10th grade when Fortnite became popular, so you're a year younger than me. EDP should be in a jail cell. Hopefully that's what happened to him. Hopefully he's in a fucking jail cell right now. Actually, no, he's not. I think he's still making videos. I don't know where he's uploading his videos now, but I know he's still festering around somewhere. I left my old retirement home and Fortnite started getting popular. Never really watched a lot of law enforcement shows. Law and Order was always in my head as a reminder. Well, I think that's the first show that comes to most people's minds when it comes to law enforcement shows, because what law enforcement show is more popular than Law and Order? That show's been going on since what, the 80s, and it's still going with no end in sight. And my mom still loves watching that show. The only shows I really watch are Pawn Stars and Death Note. I have an uncle that really liked watching Pawn Stars years ago. I haven't seen him watch it in a long time, but I remember he used to really like watching it. He used to make my grandma watch it with them sometimes, and she was like, "This is shit." Well, she didn't exactly say that. None of my family members that I live with curse, but she didn't like it. My dad has very conservative politics. He's handling this a lot better than I thought. I still don't like that he's right wing, but at least glad we're working through this. Yeah, at least he can accept that you're an adult capable of making your own decisions, unlike that other family member you talked about. Like, you know, that's the more rational position to have. I mean, it's not great that you don't support trans people, but at least you still acknowledge that, at least adults are capable of, their own decisions. And if they want to transition, well, that no one else can tell them otherwise. It's their decision. But now you have, and now you have conservatives going completely mask off with the whole with the whole trans panic, and now they're trying to crack down on adults, receiving, gender affirming care. It was never about protecting the kids. My teenagehood was the worst, especially the phase of me using stuff like meth, coke, oxycontin. Yeah, that must have been rough. I don't even know what to say to that. I know what drug addiction is like, not because I've been addicted to any drugs, but I know of a person who is addicted to drugs. I know a person who's addicted to drugs, hard drugs, I mean. And yeah, let's just say withdrawal is not a pleasant thing. A person going through withdrawal is not a pleasant thing to experience. Asbestos wasn't completely banned until like 2008 in Canada. Ah, I see. I hope your house doesn't have asbestos then. Or at least I hope asbestos won't be a problem for you anytime in the future. I like Luxy Turner personally. I don't hate the song or anything. I just don't think it's all that, special. Just a middle of the road track. I don't know. I don't really listen to much new music anymore, or at least I don't listen to newly released albums, nearly as often as I used to. Nearly as often as I used to anymore because I still like music, but I don't really seek out new music to listen to or, you know, listen to newly released albums from artists I really like day one anymore because I'm more of a video game person these days. Not necessarily a year younger than you. I was born in late 2001, in November on the 15th. Ah, I see. Well, yeah, there's people I've went to school with who were born in the same year as me, but were born really late in the year, so they were a grade behind me. Would I be allowed to post smoking videos on Discord? I won't post too often. Yeah, sure, knock yourself out. I don't care. The Cops show was my childhood law enforcement show because of its famous intro. It got canceled in 2020 after the death of George Floyd. I can't say I feel sad at all hearing that Cops was canceled. Fuck that show. That same uncle I mentioned before, like Pawn Stars, really loved Cops. He loved watching that show a lot. My grandma fucking hated that show. I didn't even know Cops was canceled. I thought that show was still going because I don't pay attention to that show at all. A lot of my friends who smoke weed with me have autism like me. In fact, I've noticed it's popular in my area among teenagers with autism or ADHD to smoke weed or eat edibles. Well, I mean, weed is great on average, at least. When it comes to anxiety, like I said, it helped me a lot with my anxiety. And of course, this I don't think is the case for all autistic people, but you know, one of the symptoms of autism is anxiety. And again, we can help quell anxiety. So it doesn't surprise me that, in your area, and I'm sure a lot of other areas, weed is really popular with people with autism. I mean, I have autism and I have really bad anxiety. Weed was great for me when it came to, you know, calming my anxiety down. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that, weed completely eliminated my anxiety. It didn't. I still did experience some anxiety when I was smoking weed all the time, but I noticed it wasn't nearly as bad as it was before I started smoking weed regularly. And, uh, you know, now it's been years since I was smoking weed regularly, and surprise, surprise, the anxiety is bad again. Last month, I had to do a presentation on the novel Sophie's Choice. All I had to do was read a paper I wrote, and even that was, sending my anxiety levels sky high. Like literally, my legs were shaking when I was up there reading in front of the class. That's how much I hate speaking in front of people. Which is weird because I'm doing that right now, speaking in front of people, but obviously, the people watching the stream aren't sitting in front of me, physically sitting in front of me, watching me speak. I'm gonna head out now. See ya, Guitar Rocker. I've only been streaming for 54 minutes. Wow, thought I was already streaming for over an hour. I think they brought Cops back, but it's only on Fox Nation. No, of course it's on Fox. Of fucking course it's on Fox now. What channel did they have Cops on before? My uncle only watched reruns on another channel. I forget what that channel even was, but I know it wasn't the channel that the show was originally airing on. It was just a channel that had reruns of old shows. I think Cops was on the Fox network, but Fox network was made before the Fox News channel launched. Ah, I see. So it was always on Fox. Well, still not surprising in the least bit. Sorry if I sent incomplete messages on accident. My keyboard was designed differently and only used my phone for a week, and I'm getting used to it. It's all good. It's all good. I'm prone to dumb mistakes on the keyboard too, both on my phone and the computer. Sometimes I prematurely send a message, like I'm still in the middle of writing a message, but for whatever reason, I still hit the send button. So I just send out an incomplete sentence, kind of like what you did. Speaking of EDP, if I remember correctly, I was on a Discord server where one person told me and other users that if you do interviews with EDP and upload it on YouTube, your channel gets terminated. Yeah, no surprise. They're giving a platform to a predator, a known predator, a predator who once had a large platform and used that platform to lure underage girls into, engaging in inappropriate conversations with him in DMs, and also in the hopes of getting them to share their address so he can go and have sex with them. So it doesn't surprise me that anyone dumb enough to give them a platform these days on YouTube gets their channel terminated. Don't feel bad for those people in the least bit. A cop rolled into my street last night while I was smoking in my tent with a fire. The cop asked me to put out the fire because of the fire ban. I did that I didn't know of and didn't care about me smoking weed. Well, at least you didn't get in trouble for smoking weed underage. Which, by the way, is something that I don't care about at all because I smoked weed underage, and before it was even fully legal in this state. Again, it was, like I said before in previous streams, I'm sure it was only decriminalized for a long time, but no one really cared if you had weed with you here in NYC. But yeah, if you're a teenager, if you're like 16, 17 smoking weed, have fun. I don't care. There's way worse things that you could be putting into your body. What a great role model I am. I drank beer the first time in my life after my 21st birthday. When I turned 21, my dad really wanted me to try beer. I I'm 22 now, so it's been over a year since I turned 21 and I still haven't gotten drunk. My dad really wanted me to get plastered on my 21st. I never did. I didn't even do anything for my 21st birthday. Just had some cake, got some presents, some video games I wanted, and that was it. Didn't have a party or anything. My mom has technically been using weed since the 70s, since she first tried weed when she was 13 in 1979. Cool. Your mom sounds very, very cool. I wish more moms were that cool. I'm gonna blow a toke out the window again. My mom only allows weed to be smoked in the house and never tobacco. Yeah, I cigarette smoke is something I'd rather not be around. My father has been a chimney since long before I was born. He tried several times when I was a kid at quitting cigarettes, and he failed every single time. I remember there were a couple of times he was like, "I'm quitting just for you," and he would try. He would quit for a few weeks, and then he'd go right back to cigarettes. The last time I saw my dad before I cut him off for 5 years, he did downgrade to vape. That was one of his many failed attempts to quit cigarettes. And but when I started talking to him again and I started seeing him again 5 years later, he was right back on cigarettes. And now I don't think he even tries to quit. I think he's just fully accepted that he'll probably be smoking cigarettes until the day he dies, which either lung cancer or an overdose is gonna kill him. Either one of those two things, probably. Not an overdose on cigarettes. He does other stuff that I'd rather not get into because you don't overdose on cigarettes. I think I heard with weed overdose, you'd literally have to smoke weed like 10,000 times in a row or some shit nonstop in order to fucking overdose. The game I got my 21st birthday was God of War Ragnarok. That's a good birthday present. That was a good game. I don't know if it's my favorite out of the two Norse games. I might like 2018 game more, but no, I think I like God of War Ragnarok more. I thought the gameplay was more fun in that game than 2018. Not to knock 2018 or anything. That was a phenomenal game in its own right, but I think I like Ragnarok a little more. I do like the original God of War games as well, the original trilogy. It's too bad the third game you could natively play on PS5. The first two, the only way to play them on PS5 is to stream them on the shitty fucking cloud service they have on PlayStation, which I never want to use again. It's not PlayStation Now anymore. That was rolled into PlayStation Plus, and you got to pay $100+ for the premium plan on PlayStation Plus in order to play games through cloud streaming. $100+ a year for barely functional cloud gaming. Great. And some PS1 games every now and then. Really enticing. I have a pack of smokes and I haven't had a smoke all day. That should prove how much weed I smoke sometimes. Yeah, I don't really see anyone, at least my age, smoking cigarettes all that much anymore. I mean, I'm sure they exist, of course, but everyone I know that does smoke, they don't smoke cigarettes, they smoke weed. My dad vapes. Yeah. I think my dad does vape sometimes, but he's not using it as a substitute for cigarettes anymore. Obviously not. I've seen him smoke cigarette after cigarette every time I've seen him in the past few years. But I think he did mention before that he does vape sometimes because he likes the flavor. I forget what flavor exactly he smokes, but he smokes a couple of different flavors and he likes smoking that sometimes. The Mario movie wasn't woke. It wasn't anti-woke either. It was a very apolitical movie, but conservatives like focusing on the real issues, and there was a whole fucking debate on the right back when the Mario movie came out whether it was woke or not. Again, the real issues in society. But I remember the initial meltdown when the first trailer came out, and it was revealed that Princess Peach wasn't going to be a helpless damsel in distress this time, or wasn't going to be a helpless damsel in distress in the movie. And people were saying this goes against her character in the games. She should not be a badass. She should not be the one saving Mario when I don't think that even happened in the movie. But when you think about it, it makes sense. I saw the movie because someone shared it in my Discord server. Oh, piracy! I know, sue me. But I watched the movie and it made sense why she was a badass. No one was helping her before Mario came to the Mushroom Kingdom. All that shit, all that platforming shit. She was the only one doing that. That was established in the movie. So naturally, she was the one that had to do all the heroics and shit before Mario came around. But who the fuck else was going to do it? The Toads? I'm not a politician or anything, but the word woke pisses me off. You don't have to be a politician or even be someone who pays attention to politics to be annoyed by the word woke. It's so overused. Like 95% of the people who use the word woke again and again don't even fucking know what it means. I mean, there is the real definition, being alert to systemic injustice, but it's been mangled to mean just anything conservatives don't like, pretty much. It's just a cover word because conservatives don't most conservatives at least are too cowardly to say what's really on their minds. I always point to the dude who raged over Parasite winning best movie of I think 2020. It lost to Joker, and he was like, "This foreign film won best movie of 2020. That's woke." Why is it woke? Well, this foreign film won best movie of 2020, and that's why it's woke. Why is a foreign film winning best movie of 2020 woke? God forbid you ask him that question. I still think Jack Black voicing Bowser to this day really fits. And he easily gave the best performance in that movie. I still don't like Chris Pratt as Mario at all. He sucked. Everyone else was either okay or just, whatever. But Jack Black as Bowser, he nailed it. He gave the best performance in that movie. I thought Luigi's voice was okay. I thought Peach's voice was just kind of whatever. There was even a game where she had to save the Mario Bros. On the DS, and she was pretty badass. The old cartoons sometimes. But that DS game and those cartoons are woke. Like I really don't I really can't give a shit less if, you know, Peach is the one doing heroics sometimes because I kinda like caring about, things that actually matter in the world, but conservatives, they don't have anything besides their stupid culture war bullshit, so this is the kind of shit they harp on. Like, again, at least in the movies lore, it made sense why Peach was the badass because, again, before Mario and Luigi arriving in the Mushroom Kingdom, no one else was there to help out Princess Peach, so she kinda had to take the role of protecting the Mushroom Kingdom, and, I mean, she is the ruler of the Mushroom Kingdom, so you would think it's kinda sorta her job to protect it, you know? I know this is not gonna happen, but I do kinda hope that the movie being a massive success would, you know, inspire Nintendo to give the Mario characters a little bit more of a personality and, make Peach have a role that's not just getting kidnapped. Again, I know it's not gonna happen. I know, Nintendo really doesn't want Mario games to have any more story than just someone just got kidnapped, time to save them, but I really wish that, Mario games would have at least a little bit more story than that. It's not like I'm expecting any deep lore from the fucking Mario universe or anything, but, you know, just something, or even something, that doesn't really impact the main game, like Rosalina's backstory in the Mario Galaxy games. That was entirely optional, but I still loved looking at those cutscenes because they were really emotional and, something that you don't really see in any other Mario games. And I think hearing this from Chugga Conroy back when he was doing his Galaxy 2 LP, that I think Galaxy 2 was supposed to have something similar, or I think was actually going to have a little bit more lore or story in it. And then I think it was Miyamoto who stepped in and was like, "Nope, nope, not doing that." Why? Also, if I post smoking videos, I know I might sound younger than I actually am. I'm turning 17 in 5 months, and I sound 14 and look 18 because of my facial hair. I remember when I was in high school, people thought I was a lot older than I really was. When I was a freshman in high school, some people thought I was already a senior because I had more body hair than a lot of other freshmen. I mean, I do have a lot of arm hair. I've seen people with a lot more arm hair than me. Oh man, Robert Storms. Yeah, that was the dude who was complaining about parasites. I always forget the dude's name, even though I did feature him in one of my worst YouTubers videos. But it's not like he's someone worth remembering. I don't think he had that one. He went viral for that in the worst way possible. Back when he dropped that video, and then people just kind of forgot about his existence. Also, Parasite was a pretty decent movie. I watched it with my dad when it came out. I watched that movie once with my mom around the time it came out. Well, I think probably like 6 months after it came out. It came out in, I think, late 2019. And I watched it with my mom in quarantine because it finally dropped on I think Netflix. It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm planning to see the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that is set to release in theaters on October 27th of this year. Yeah, I heard a Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming. Do I plan on seeing it? No. No. I've only ever played the first game way back when it came out, in I think 2014. Uh, my whole middle school was talking endlessly about the game, and I really wanted to see what all the hype was about. And I'm not gonna lie, some of the jump scares did get me, but you know, once you once you know what's coming, all the suspense is gone, and I wasn't really having that much fun anymore. My friend said that I sound 14 and look 18 for some reason. FNAF was big when I was in grades 3 through 5. Shit, I was in 8th grade when FNAF was first taken off. I think it was early 8th grade. Yeah, I was still 13, and it was 2014. That's when I first started hearing about the game. At least, like around the time 8th grade started. I've never played FNAF, but I remember watching Markiplier play the games. Yeah, he's one of the people that really popularized FNAF. I don't know if he's the sole person that put FNAF on the map, but he definitely was one of the people that helped put it on the map back then. I still remember the title of one of his FNAF videos. Oh, vaguely at least. I remember it being something like, "Warning, this is the scariest game you will ever play," or something like that, which, yeah, maybe if you're like 8 years old, but I know sensationalist titles like that are the ones that are most likely to get clicks. After FNAF 2, I lost interest in the game and even went on a phase from 2016 to 2018 where I'd call FNAF cancer and called kids who liked the game cancer and autistic. Reminds me of myself during that period of time. I never made a video on the FNAF fan base. Well, not a video in the sense where I compile bad comments from people who are in the FNAF fan base. I did make some videos bashing on specific people in the FNAF fan base, but you know, I did the I did the videos on fan base. I did the bad comment compilation videos on fan bases like the Sonic fan base, the Undertale fan base, and a bunch of other fan bases, which, ooh, you don't like the Sonic fan base breaking new grounds. Yeah, and I remember calling the Sonic video Sonic fan base is autistic, which I changed the title to that video a long time ago. I think like 2019. Same thing with the Undertale video. I especially don't like calling things cancer now, considering cancer is what killed my grandmother. Well, technically, she died of organ failure, but she wouldn't have died of organ failure if she didn't have cancer. But it was the cancer that pretty much, brought on her death. I have the FNAF game on PS4 that has a core collection of FNAF 1 to Sister Location. I don't even know what Sister Location is. I stopped paying attention to FNAF after like 2016. And I think that was around the time it went off the radar for a while. I think only recently it started, seeing a big resurgence in popularity because it's considered nostalgic now. It's funny seeing all of these things that, received so much hate like 10 plus years ago or close to 10 years in FNAF's case now receive now receive a lot of positivity because now it's considered nostalgic. I remember when I Hate Everything parodied Markiplier's title when he did his video on FNF. I Hate Everything, that is a name I have not seen in a long time. Is that dude even still around? I was a Leafy fan. Can we not with the ableist language, please? But yeah, I liked Leafy for like 2 seconds. I remember you made a video, a Miiverse video on two FNF fans who wanted Freddy and Smash. Yeah, I remember that. One of them told someone to go die or something. It's been a long time since I watched that video. Which I'm surprised that didn't get admin. Someone literally said anyone who hates FNAF should go shoot themselves or something, and that was fine. Admins didn't take that down. The internet wouldn't be ready if Freddy was going to be in Smash. They would have to play the song when the power goes out and the hype comes next. Yeah, I can only imagine the meltdown over that. It wouldn't matter to me because I don't play Smash, nor do I really care about Smash. But oh god, the fucking Smash purists would be on fucking. They would be in shambles. I almost kind of want Freddy to be in Smash just to have those people just melt the fuck down. I remember when it was called Sonic fans are autistic, despite me having autism, I used it as an insult a lot. Same. Well, in my case at least, it was used as kind of a coping mechanism. Or not exactly a coping mechanism, more just me projecting my anger about being neurodivergent onto other people who were neurodivergent and were able to accept that part of themselves. Meanwhile, I wasn't able to accept that part of myself. Even up until recently, I've had trouble accepting being neurodivergent because, like I've said before, it's really it's provided a lot of hardship when it comes to me being able to socialize with people. All that pent up frustration about me being neurodivergent caused me to be angry. It caused me to get pissed off at people who are able to say, "Yeah, I have autism, and I'm proud of it," or I don't mind having autism. Meanwhile, there was me who couldn't really come to grips with having autism, so I would just bully people who do, or rather, yeah, bully people who do have autism. It was just really shitty of me. IHE is still around, but he doesn't upload as often. Most recent upload was last August, and it was a video on a Destiny 2 DLC. Yeah, yeah, I remember years ago unsubscribing from him because he kind of stopped doing the rant videos and became more of a movie review channel. I don't know if he still does the reviews, but I kind of liked the more simplistic, I hate this, I hate that videos. I understand why he moved away from those videos, though. They became kind of formulaic, and he wanted to, branch out to different kinds of things. But I was, mostly there for the 5 to 7 minute long rant videos he'd do talking about things he hates. And when he started phasing those out and started, really focusing on the movie reviews, that's when I kind of dipped out and lost interest. But I used to watch I Hate Everything a lot back in 2015, 2016. He was one of my favorite channels, you know, during a period of time. But if his last video was from August, I take it that he doesn't upload that much anymore because August is almost a year ago. Last August was almost a year ago now, if you could believe it. Time goes by too quickly. I remember when the drama between IHE and Cool Cat happened. Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, the dude who made Cool Cat, didn't he copyright strike him, or didn't he even get his channel terminated at one point? That was wild. Hello, the side hustler Jay. How you doing? Yeah, there's a lot of drama that happened during those years in 2015, 2016 that I just completely forgot about. Now I'm remembering all the fucking Keemstar drama that happened back then. Remember when Leafy and Grade A Under A were having their crusade against Keemstar back then. When looking back at that, it's so obvious how fucking manufactured that drama was. Leafy and Grade A Under A had no problem associating with Keemstar before all that drama transpired. But then iDubbbz released his content cop, and liking Keemstar wasn't cool anymore. So they had to hop on the bandwagon, hop on the fucking hate train against Keemstar. Not that I feel bad for Keemstar or anything. That dude's a piece of shit. But it just shows that you know all that fucking drama between those three was just so fucking fake and manufactured. At least on the part of Leafy and Grade A. The Cool Cat creator filed false DMCA claims and even impersonated a law firm to go after other reviews of IHEs. Jesus, yeah. I forgot how deep that rabbit hole went, but I just remember him, giving I Hate Everything a strike and making a video calling him a bitch or something like that. What's the best fast food place to go to after smoking weed? I wouldn't be able to tell you because I don't usually have fast food right after smoking weed. Maybe that's something I should try someday. I don't know. I remember when Keemstar made an old man cry after he falsely accused him of being a pedo. Yeah, I remember that. I think he got completely wrong information and said someone was a pedophile when they really weren't. But that was fucked up. It just shows that, you have to really do extensive research before you go, throwing the pedophile accusation at someone. Wasn't there another dude that Keemstar accused of being a pedo, and that person had a complete meltdown? I forget if they really were a pedo or not, but they were claiming they weren't, and I remember watching this really disturbing video back in like 2016, because that was back when this happened, of that person just screaming and breaking down, saying that they're not a pedophile. Because I think there was apparently like an arrest record of them, or Keemstar, or at least Keemstar claimed was of them, where it showed that they molested a little girl or something along those lines. I don't even remember the drama all that clearly. I just remember someone having a breakdown because Keemstar accused them of being a pedophile, or more specifically, a child molester. I don't like the police system in Canada all that much. I can't imagine the horror in the States. Oh, it's terrible in the States. I'm sure it's terrible in Canada too. Any police state is fucking terrible, but it's probably the worst in the States. Hello, big guy 45s. How are you doing? Welcome back, Robert. An hour and 32 minutes I've been streaming for. Well, for those of you who weren't here earlier, I mentioned this at the very beginning of the stream, but we got a kitten. It's a kitten that was born from a cat that lives in our backyard. We haven't really decided on a name yet, but I think the name we like the most so far is Sophie. It's a little black and white kitten. I have a picture of it. It's not going to be in the best quality, but here it is. Very, very cute. So yeah, we're not even completely sure if it's a boy or a girl. We think it's a girl. So if it's a girl, its name is probably gonna be Sophie. My mom's the one that picked the name. I had no preference when it came to girls' names. I really wanted it to be a boy, and I guess it still could possibly be a boy. We're not entirely sure the gender, like I said, but if it is a boy, I want to name it Floyd. Take a wild guess what I'm naming the cat. Take a wild guess where the name Floyd comes from. But yeah, that's the only name I really wanted to give the cat. But if it's a girl, the name, I don't care what the name is. I have no preference. I'm gonna get high again around 9. Sounds fun. Being indigenous in Canada is like being black in the States. Yeah, like 2 years ago, probably maybe even worse. Like 2 years ago, there were those mass indigenous graves that were found. Terrible, absolutely disgusting. But yeah, the kitten really likes playing with my cat Theo or Theodore. I named him way back when I was like 8 years old. Um, because Theo likes to go out in the porch sometimes, and the kitten before we made him go in the house. The kitten liked sitting on the porch a lot, and whenever Theo would come out, the kitten would try to play with them. And Theo's an old cat; he's not very playful, but that kitten seems really attached to him. She follows him around a lot, even though it kind of pisses him off. We're also watching Family Guy. I can never get into Family Guy. I have a friend who's crazy about Family Guy, but I've tried and I just couldn't get into the show. Like in high school, he would always quote Family Guy. He was like fucking fanatical when it came to Family Guy. Okay, I've been a fan since 2017. Yeah, that's when that's around the time I first started talking to this guy. He's the one that got me into weed. But yeah, he would around that time he would always quote Family Guy, and he still loves quoting Family Guy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that he's tried getting me into the show, and I can't really get into it. I've been really wanting to watch The Simpsons though, but I just the problem with Simpsons is there's like what 30 fucking seasons of it, and people have said for the past like 20 years The Simpsons has sucked. So I don't know when's a good stopping point because a lot of people say different things. They say this episode is when you should stop, or this season is when you should stop, or this other episode is when you should stop. You get all these varying answers because it ultimately boils down to preference. Some people have a different point when the show got shitty compared to other people. So that's the one thing that's keeping me from watching The Simpsons because fuck no, I'm not watching every season of that show, especially if the past like 25 seasons have been bad. I used to love ding dong ditching houses when I was 10. I would go to a step further and keep targeting the same houses over and over. I would wait for them to call the cops and then I'd dash home. I never did anything like that when I was a kid. Neither did any kid I know do that. I'd be I'd be too apprehensive about the cops being called on me and getting in trouble. It's okay, everyone likes different things. Indeed. Indeed. Sometimes I'd even ambush houses with toilet paper and rotten apples. That is something I definitely wouldn't do when I was a kid, or even now. Yeah, I once got in trouble with the cops before because me and my friends went to an abandoned house. There's this one creepy abandoned house that's right by me. It used to have a family living in it a long time ago, back when I was a little kid, but ever since they moved out, no one was ever in that house afterwards. I don't know. I don't know if there was anything wrong with the house, but now it's just fucking decrepit. The grass is overgrown. It's creepy. I wouldn't mind checking it out though, if some friends were ever to, if any of my friends were ever to offer, checking out the house with me. I love smoking weed at my 12-inch glass bong. Yeah, I've smoked weed out of bongs a couple of times, mostly at parties. We would pass a bong around and take hits, take turns taking hits. There's also an abandoned school near me. My friends and I have been in there a million times and we never got in trouble. That would freak me out going into a whole school that's abandoned. Like a house is one thing, but a school that just sounds fucking freaky. My dad told me when he was like my age or even a little younger, I think when he was in high school, there was this abandoned apartment complex that him and a bunch of friends would go into, and they'd have parties in there. They get high in there, get drunk. I'll post a video or two on Discord tonight. Cool. Yeah, it was creepy, especially when we were there at night. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go into a whole abandoned building at night. I know that's the most ideal time to go though, because you'd be less likely to be caught as opposed to going in there during the day. But still, freak me the fuck out. I don't blame you. Haha. Yeah, I'm chicken shit. But an abandoned house being a place to like meet up with a bunch of friends and get high in, that sounds fun. Yeah, that'd be cool as fuck. Yeah, maybe I should tell my friends about that abandoned house right by me. Have it be a little hangout spot because again, no one has lived in that house for the past like I don't know 12, 13 years. Again, there used to be a family that lived there, but they moved out in like 2009 or 2010 and no one was ever in that house afterwards. I don't know if there was anything wrong with the house. There must be a reason why no one ever moved into it. It just sits there. I hope nobody calls the cops on you guys if you do go. Yeah, that would be definitely a worry of mine. But we're not reckless or anything. I don't think it would be too loud to cause a disturbance, or loud enough to cause a disturbance or anything. One time I sold weed to a kid who was 4 years younger than me because he asked me. It feels weird that a kid born in 2010 is smoking weed to begin with. If he was born in 2010, then they'd be 13 at the most now. Yeah, I don't know about smoking weed at that age. I mean, it's not going to kill them, but I don't know. If they were like, 15, 16, then whatever, but 13 or maybe even 12 if they have a later birthday. I don't know. But then again, my dad has been smoking cigarettes since like 12, so it's definitely worse things to put in your body at that age. Actually, the cops came to the abandoned school twice because I think they caught me on camera, but we got away. Luckily, you got away. Shit. Smoking weed at 13. Whoa. Well, I started not too long after that. Again, like I said, started in late 2016, like in November, I think. I was 15 back then. It's whatever. At least the weed was completely safe and not overly strong and not laced with anything else. I started back in March. I was 19. Oh, wow. Yeah, I started nearly 7 years ago. Turned 20 in April. Happy late birthday. I turned 22 in March. March 20th. I remember it feeling a little surreal at first, turning 20 back in 2021. That the feeling only lasted for a little bit. I remember feeling similarly when I first turned 18. I was like, "Wow, now I'm considered a legal adult. I'm voting age now. Wow." But the feeling only lasted for maybe a day or two, and then I was like, I'm 18. Nothing really changed or anything, so whatever. Because nothing inherently changes that much just because you got a year older. You actually have to do things to make shit change. Thanks, you're welcome. I started smoking weed at 16 years old. Again, I'm surprised at all the stoners I got in my audience. I like it though. Well, maybe I shouldn't be too surprised, but when I turned 18, I was like, "Whoa, yeah, same." But again, I I didn't really think much of it after like a day or two. I smoked my first bong rip of weed when I was 13 and got into smoking weed often soon after. I forget when exactly I first smoked. I first took a hit from a bong. I was well, it was in 2017. Yeah, I think I was still 15. I think it was really early in that year. I know it was at a party. Before last week, I haven't bought a Monster Energy drink in over 2 years because I was smoking weed so much. I have no interest in drinking energy drinks. I think I only ever had one Monster in my life, and I was like, "No, this isn't for me." I don't really drink any beverages besides just juice and water, orange juice to be more specific. Those are the only two things I ever drink. I I don't drink soda either. Everyone always argues between Coke and Pepsi, but to me, it all tastes the same because I don't have it often at all. Soda's more of a social thing for me. Like, if it's offered to me at a party, yeah, I'll drink it, especially if there's nothing else to drink. But I don't drink soda on my own accord. I don't drink it at home. We don't even have any soda here. None of us in my house drink soda. But my mom used to drink soda a lot years ago, but she stopped. Especially after she started having problems with her teeth. She knew, yeah, it's not the best idea to keep drinking soda. I prefer soda. I don't smoke weed. Like, I don't smoke cigarettes because I make smart choices and not get lung cancer. You don't get lung cancer from weed. I once stole 4 cans of Monster from Walmart when I was 13. Yeah, stealing is something I've never done either. I love both Coke and Pepsi. Yeah, I never got the argument. Well, because I don't drink soda myself, but I've drank Coke, I've drank Pepsi before. It's the same shit to me. But there are people who are really passionate when it comes to either defending Coke or defending Pepsi, which I find kind of sad, to be honest. Like, at the end of the day, they're beverages that are gonna rot your teeth. Like, it's not that it's not really serious business at all. I'm gonna leave the stream in 30 minutes. I'm not even gonna be streaming 30 minutes from now. I'm gonna stop at the 2 hour and 5 minute or so mark, which is 14 minutes from now. So I'm gonna be done with this soon. I once stole a lollipop from a corner store when I was 10. No, wait, I actually did steal once when I was a kid. A basketball at a local grocery store. It wasn't even a real basketball. It was one of those little, little kid basketballs that I wanted to play with because I used to like, throwing things in the air back when I was a kid. Um, but no, I remember I wanted to get it. I asked my mom if we could get it, and my mom said no. And thankfully, that grocery store at the time it still exists, and now they have detectors. But back then they didn't, so I was able to steal that without the store knowing. But my mom was really pissed. I was like 6 at the time, so I just thought it was something kind of funny, like, I got this basketball anyway, even though you told me no. And then she told me how wrong it was to steal. We didn't take it back though. I got to keep it, and it's long gone now. I completely forgot about that until now. It just popped in my mind. Some of you were mentioning stealing things. I like Dr. Pepper the most. I also like Coca Cola. There was someone who used to be active in my Discord server way back when that loved Dr. Pepper. You probably know who I'm referring to. If you do know, if you know, you know. Actually, it was a chocolate Tootsie Pop. I also like Sprite. I've never drank Sprite or Dr. Pepper. Only ever had Coke or Pepsi because that was all that was at some parties I went to. Also, I didn't want to be the only one drinking water at a party. I just thought that would look lame. It's funny, I didn't give in when people would offer me beers, but I would give in when they would offer me soda. I also stole gum. I got a BMX bike stolen from my front yard last year. Worst part is that my dad bought it as a gift for me. Oh, that fucking sucks. Sorry. Sorry to hear that. 1 second, my laptop needs to charge. All right, there we go. I hate bike thievery. I have a bike. I rode it last time I rode it was last summer. I really want to go to the park again and ride it again. Either that or my scooter. People say you look really lame when riding a scooter, but I don't fucking care. I've always liked scooters more than bikes. I could ride either or. I know how to ride both a bike and a scooter, but I've always liked scooters more. Probably because I've learned to ride a scooter first before a bike. I think I was on your Discord server over 3 years ago, but I deleted Discord because none of the servers interested me at the time. Well, I don't remember exactly who you were back then, but nice to see you're back around now. I hope after this weekend the air quality gets better over here. It's already getting better. Thankfully, there's been no orange sky after Wednesday. I just, I'm just still apprehensive about going outside and even keeping my window open. It's like 2020 all over again, being afraid to go outside because of all the fucking toxic air. But if I do, whenever I do go outside, yesterday, I had to take out the garbage. I wore a mask. It's good that we still keep masks here in the house because you never know when you need them. My mom's job used to provide masks for people to take, but I think as of a few months ago, you know, they had the attitude, well, COVID is over, so people don't need masks anymore. And then on Wednesday, my mom told me a whole bunch of people were like, where are the masks? We don't want to take masks home because we don't want to breathe in the toxic air. And their job was like, oh, sorry, we got rid of the masks a few months ago because we thought people wouldn't need them anymore. Like, always have that shit be readily available to people because you never know when you fucking need them again. For all we know, another COVID variant might come around that, starts lockdown all over again. Or, shit like this can happen where the air is literally toxic to breathe in. And, you want to protect yourself from said toxic air. Just because there may not be a threat currently, well, there is a threat now, but I'm just saying in general, just because at the moment there may not be a threat that warrants something like, needing to wear masks, doesn't mean you don't, it doesn't mean you can just discard those things and, act like we may never need masks, something like a mask ever again. I've been watching your videos since 2017. I lost interest in 2020 and came back in 2023 after the autism video. Well, welcome back aboard. I imagine the political videos turned you off back then because it was around the time I started talking about politics a lot on this channel, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, bye, can't stand you anymore. You're too woke." Not saying you were like that, or maybe you were. I don't know, but a lot of people back then like that, and whatever. I don't shed any tears losing people like that. But regardless, it's nice to see you around again. I feel really bad for the people in the state I was born in, New Jersey, had to suffer orange smoke as well. I wouldn't know what it's like to live in New Jersey if I haven't grew up in Alabama. Oh, what age did you move out of Jersey? I'm vaccinated because I wanted to do fun things. I think that's most people's sentiment. A lot of places, you know, during back when people actually still cared about COVID. A lot of places were requiring you to show proof of vaccination, which was a good thing. You know, I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people who don't care about public safety. I moved out in 2010 when I was 9 at the time. I see. I was 9 in that year too. But I've lived in the same house since the day I was born. I've always been in this house. And I've always been in New York City. I can't imagine living anywhere else. I didn't take COVID as seriously as it was back then, but I still followed protocol by wearing masks. Well, that's good. At least you did the bare minimum. I took that shit really seriously back then. That was also what caused some people to, lose interest in me because they thought I was being too annoying about COVID. Sorry that I'm, taking a public health emergency seriously. I remember some people saying back in 2020, "Oh, this will all blow over after May or June, then life will get back to normal." How wrong they were. I was 3 in 2009. I was 8. It's wild that people born in 2010 are now becoming teenagers now because I remember that year pretty clearly. I was 9 years old in third grade and fourth grade at the end of 2010, and now there are people who were born in that year who are now teenagers. Just kind of surreal to me. I'm sure there are people who feel the same exact way when it comes to people born in the early 2000s. There are people who remember the early 2000s clearly, and now there are people in their 20s who were born in the early 2000s or late teens, like me. Karens never tend to wear masks during COVID times because they have medical condition, quote unquote. Ooh, don't let the Matt Walsh fans hear you say Karen. That's a no word to them. I have a picture of me and my younger baby brother and my dad in December 2009 hung up on my weed desk. What a place to have that picture be in. I heard there were rumors about a solar eclipse making a return this year in 2020, next year in 2024 to be in front of the sun again like it did in August 2017. Yeah, I remember the solar eclipse being a big deal back then. I forgot it was all the way back in 2017, though. I thought it was a little sooner than that. And well, we didn't get shit here in New York City. Hopefully, the next lunar solar eclipse, I mean, we'll actually get to see something here. Because I remember being hyped about that back then, but then we got fucking nothing here in New York City. It was unfortunate, but whatever. Whatever. Is it really Is the next solar eclipse really scheduled to be next year? I I haven't looked that up, so I don't know. 90s kids sometimes act like boomers. Oh, absolutely. A lot of them fucking act like boomers because they like to act. They act like nothing good ever happened at post 1999. It's so fucking annoying. It's also fucking annoying always being talked down to by these people, saying, "Oh, you missed the good years. I feel so sorry for you." I don't fucking care. I don't care. Go ahead and live in the past, but don't fucking bother me about it. But anyway, with that said, 2 hours and 6 minutes. I'm gonna call it here. Thank you for being here. This was a really fun stream, a really lively stream, like the last one. Next stream will be sometime in July, I guess. I don't know. Well, yeah, I do these on a monthly basis. But yeah, thank you all for being here. My voice cracked there, Jesus. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to everyone who was here before, who are not here now. I always appreciate people who participate in these streams because without all of you, these streams wouldn't even fucking exist because who would I interact with? And I love interacting with all of you. Truly, it's a lot of fun. Anyway, see ya whenever I upload my next video. Bye bye.